So let's talk about our finance solver on our CAS calculator. Now, we use our finance solver quite a lot. It is a very, very useful application on our CAS calculator. So far we've used recurrence relations to model our reducing balance loans and investments, all of that. But when we're looking at reducing balance loans, especially things like your home loans, your mortgages, these take place over a very long period of time. So our finance solver on our CAS calculator really do help us here. And when you've got complex things happening, it's a great tool to use. So yeah, from your calculator screen, you go menu, finance solver. I'll get this up in a moment. And then you've got your finance solver here, where you've got a lot of inputs that you need to put in. Okay, let's go through what they mean. N is for the number of payments over the length of the loan or investment. So, if you're talking monthly payments or compounding, monthly interest being paid into the loan, or you're paying into the loan or getting payments from the investment, that's 12 payments per year over the length of the investment. I is the annual interest rate, so the per annum interest rate is what you put there. PV, present value, or the initial value of the loan. How much do you owe at that point in time? Now, you've got to be careful how you put it in. It's positive or negative depending on certain circumstances, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a moment once I've gone through these. So PMT for amount paid, and again negative or positive depending on circumstances. FV, future value of the loan. This is what you're going to be owing at the end of a certain number of years, or how much the bank is in your investment after a certain amount of years. Now, if you're going to pay out your loan or fully repaid, then it's going to be 0. PPY and CPY are closely linked. Now, this PPY is for number of payments per year, and CPY is the number of times interest is compounded per year. Now, for the purposes of further maths, these two values are always the same. Okay, they'd be different if you're making monthly payments, but interest was compounding fortnightly, or vice versa. But for the purpose of further maths, these two values are always the same. PMT-AT, so this is used to indicate if interest is compounded at the end or at the beginning of the month. Just leave it at the end. So we'll never really discuss that, because that never changes for our purposes of further maths. Another little thing, you use tab to move from box to box or from cell to cell, and you hit enter on the box you would like an answer to. So let's bring up our calculator. So menu, finance solver. You can see them all there. Okay, and I just use tab to go down, 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 and to move around. A nice little thing with like your N, especially if you've got, say, 5 years of monthly repayments, of course, it can actually put in the equation there. So if you're talking like 30 years worth of monthly repayments, it does it for you. So you can put that equation or put that little multiplication in to help you out there. Now let's get back to where I was talking about the positive and negative. Now I always like to think of the positive is if the bank is giving you money or that money is in your pocket. You have control over it. Negative is if you've given the bank money. It's out of your pocket. It's out of your control. So this is why we have these situations where if you have been loaned money by the bank, that PV is positive. The bank has given you the money. It's positive. It's under your control. But if you have given the bank money, like invested it, you have actually given the bank control over that money to lend out to other people. So it's not under your control. It's not in your pocket. So that's a negative. Payments. So it's a negative if you are giving the bank money. You're taking the money out of your pocket and giving it to the bank. It's a positive if you're getting payment from the bank. Okay, if the bank is giving you money. With future value, it's a negative if you owe the bank money. You still need to give them that money. And it's a positive if the bank owes you money. So that's an investment situation. So we'll do lots of examples, and you need to think about that positive and negative really carefully, because that's a big problem that students can have statewide actually, that can be a number one confusion. I might pause there and we'll start part 2 in a moment.